Now, protesters who were prosecuted under anti-terror legislation after they prevented a deportation flight taking off from Stansted Airport have had their convictions overturned by the Court of Appeal. The so-called Stansted 15 cut through the airport's perimeter fence in March 2017 and locked themselves together around a Boeing 767 chartered by the Home Office to transport people from detention centres to Africa. The protesters were convicted under an act that was passed in response to the Lockerbie bombing, and it was the first time it had been used against peaceful protest. Minnie Stevenson reports.
I don't think I've got permission to be here.
A peaceful protest which began on the tarmac and ended with protesters being found guilty of terrorism-related charges. They became known as the Stansted 15. But today their terror convictions were overturned by the Court of Appeal. And one of the 15, Ben Smoke, wore the jumper to prove it.
How did you feel the moment that you found out it had been overturned?
I immediately burst into tears. I think I clasped my face. I actually didn't see it coming. I was very convinced we were going to lose. I don't think anybody in their right mind could ever have imagined that what we did on that night in March 2017 would lead to the government bringing a terror prosecution, let alone being convicted of it. I think it is so unprecedented. It's so unthinkable that this happened.
There is a bigger picture here. Human rights lawyers say the Stansted 15's convictions signalled an attempt to weaken the right to protest in the UK. It all began in March 2017 when the group cut through the perimeter fence at Stansted and prevented a Boeing 767 from taking off. The plane had been chartered by the Home Office to deport people from UK detention centres to various African countries. The airport said the disruption had cost around £1 million in delays. The 15 were initially charged with aggravated trespass, but the case against them was later upgraded. They were eventually found guilty of endangering safety under a terrorism-related charge. But the 15 avoided prison. Suspended jail terms and community service became something to be celebrated. Until today, when the protesters' convictions were quashed.
I think the thing is that although we're called the Stansted 15, this is so much bigger and broader than even what we did at that moment. And this is about a community that come together, and there are people that have been doing this for much longer than us.
Nearly 4 years have now passed since the 15 took over the tarmac at Stansted. The group told us this victory isn't just personal. Today's the day peaceful protest won.